5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hello, it's Scott Manley here, still playing EVE Online, still part 11 now of my guide on how I play through the game as a beginner. We are now in the Caldari station belonging to Hyasioda Corporation. Notice that the character looks really close, but notice how the design is significantly different from the Gallente quarters that I've been used to at this point. Yes, there's the tiny little bed that I sleep in, a little cubby hole there, which is very interesting considering this guy is essentially a stupidly rich immortal capsuleer. Regardless, we are continuing to train, so I'm just going to bring up my training queue right now so you can see what is going on here. I'm still continuing to extend all these basic skills, trying to get them all to level 3 because spreading these things around is really good. At some point when I'm in a station, when I have skill books available, I'll buy more. Also note that since I've got survey skill up enough, I can now train archaeology. But yeah, training sharpshooter, energy system operation, all these little things only add a small bonus, but together the bonuses really stack up and you get a vastly improved character in the end. So yeah, I was talking to Imuri Asaka. The situation is a delicate one. We can't go... Oh yes, so this is the dude. Basically the drones are being guarded by some person that doesn't know what he's doing, and he got his position by being a family man or whatever, by basically being friends with the right people. So I need to kill some mercenaries so I can free up someone that's actually competent to guard these drones. So it's just yet another go out and kill things. It talks about the Guristas pirates. They have been a thorn in the side of the Caldari state for many years, constantly threatening the security of outlying systems and poorly defended convoys. The Guristas tend to shy away from prolonged and overt assaults, and of course I'm doing warp to location, incidentally. Prolonged and overt assaults, preferring instead to take down the weaker prey during opportunistic raids. So I'm going to make sure that I have Scourge rockets because those do kinetic damage. And I guess I'm going to use depleted uranium ammunition because it does primarily kinetic damage. The other one you could use is phased plasma. Yeah, maybe I should actually, now I'm thinking about it, let's take a look at it. Depleted uranium, you get better optimal, but your fall off isn't any different. No, I'm going to switch back to phased plasma. That was a waste of time. Regardless, we get the pithy. In the way they are full of pithy humor, pithy puns, or whatever. For some reason, that is the code name given to these spacecraft. You'll find that for all the pirate factions you have two names. You have their official names, which are like Guristas, and then they have the names of the ships when they are in mission areas. And so the Guristas in belts, you see the rabbit logo on this ship. They are the skull rabbit. But when they're in a mission, they'll have the pithy label, or pith, or pithum. Pretty much all means the same thing, but the mission version of the NPCs is actually slightly weaker than the version you find in asteroid belts. The ones in asteroid belts also have better loot as well. I should probably show you that actually, that would be a good idea. Let's kill a bunch of these. They shouldn't take too long. I'm just going to follow the standard technique of orbiting really closely and killing. Now there's another way you can fight. You can do something called kiting, where you use long range weapons and you essentially fly away and kill things at maximum range, hoping that they won't do as much damage to you. Okay, that seemed pretty easy. Is that the mission complete? Is that the mission complete? Let me check the little journal. Mercenary distraction. Objectives complete. Let's pick up this loot. Maybe... this is a 0.9 sector. Loot all. And... loot all. Oh, I've got a ghoul energy siphon. That is a Nosferatu, which what it does is it steals their energy and gives it to you. Now, they used to be really powerful, and then they got nerfed so that they would only take energy if your target had more energy than you, and now they're being rebalanced again so that they are probably going to become slightly better than they were. Odyssey 1.1 is due out on September 3rd, and there's a few things being balanced. First, they're changing all the industrial spacecraft so that everybody gets decent industrial ships. Industrials being haulers, cargo ships. The heavy assault cruisers, which are Tech 2 spacecraft, those are all getting rebalanced. Medium long-range weaponry is all getting a serious boost to damage, but their tracking is getting reduced, so the medium ones will become much more competitive, and that's been a problem for a while. And there'll be some other changes, minor changes to scanning API, scanning UI, and things like that. But we are back, we complete the mission, we request a new mission. You will need at least 150 meters of cargo space to make the delivery, so we have farming supplies. He wasn't coordinating with the Navy's emergency logistics division, and there's a colony nearby that missed a shipment of farming supplies, so I've got to deliver them a bunch of stuff. So, of course, to do this, I go into my item hangar, find the farming supplies, ditch them here, and undock. That shouldn't take long. Now, you might find if you're not doing this mission arc in a destroyer or something, you might find you don't have enough cargo space. I've managed to run this mission arc using just a Rifter, and during this mission I got to this and was like, oh crap, I need more space, so I actually needed to borrow an extra ship or buy like some ship that would work for me. I once tried to do the mission arc, this whole 50 mission arc, using the least number of skill points, and I did it without needing even frigate level 3. I did it in a Galente Imicus back when it wasn't nearly as good as it was now, but the nice thing about it was that I could train the drone skill up and do most of my damage with drones, which really helped against most of the targets that would otherwise kill me. Anyway, just taking a sip of this fine beer. It is a Drake's 1500 dry hopped pale ale. Drake's, of course, being a local brewing company from San Leandro. No, I'm not getting paid for this, but if you want to start paying me Drake's, I would. I also like Drake's because Drake is a pretty well-known spacecraft in the EVE Online universe, and I've lost many of them in PvP events. Okay, the Caldari forces look far better prepared this time. Excellent. So there's the storage container, so I gotta fly to it. Notice the awesome, like, techno music or whatever. It's more like breaks. Acid breaks. Notice the exciting music that is kicked in as I deliver these farming supplies. The music is somewhat contextual, but it's not necessarily aware of just how mundane this mission actually is. The Caldari forces look far better prepared this time around. Anti-support frigates and cruisers flank the larger allies, standing ready and able to deal with any smaller hostiles. Okay, so gotta find the farming supplies and drop it into the storage warehouse. The faster and more agile ones won't slip past the amassed fleet so easily now, so Agent Homebase dock. That's me. It should be complete. Yes, it's very important when you're Caldari to take care of the economy. It's all about the monies. I never got to explain what Incursions was. I'd looked through the journal and I'd looked through all the tabs, including the Epic journal, but I had not looked at Incursions. Now, Incursions are something that you, as a newbie, should probably stay away from. Incursions are basically collaborative PvE, sorry. The idea being that most of the sites you need a fleet of at least 10 ships, and they're designed that you need a fleet of 10 ships, and you only get the right level of awards if you have a fleet of 10. You need to work as a team, you need to repair each other, you need to kill things. The bad guys do a lot of damage, and it's kind of hilarious that the first day this was launched, a lot of people took extremely expensively fit spaceships. They'd been doing missions, and they had pimped out their ships with stupidly expensive officer gear and faction hardware, and they would just try to solo these sites, and they died. It was hilarious. It was really, it was an epic moment in EVE history, and people complained, oh, the bad guys were able to kill me. Yeah, there was tons of them, and you were just there on your own. So yeah, if you want to do these things, you need a team. Otherwise, you just don't get all the rewards. Okay, so what now? Normally, every drone in sight, normally the local security forces would want to handle this drone threat themselves, but we're willing to contract out the job to a Capsuleer, and I suppose you mean me. You'll have to go in alone while our fleet holds the line. I suggest you take some friends into the fight. The drones have been growing in number, as more are corrupted and somehow find their way into the swarm. Once you neutralize a threat, you should search the wreckage for something that will help with your investigation. And so that is what we're doing. We're heading out. Every drone inside. Every drone is sacred. No. Okay, so the awesome music is still continuing, but I shall warp to the location. So anyway, yeah, if we come back to this journal for a moment, let's just activate my hardeners, and I'm going to switch over to EMP, I think, because that does a lot of damage against drones. You can set location or set direction towards these, set autopilot, and what this bar represents is when it's blue, the good guys are winning, when it's red, the bad guys are winning, and while the bad guys are winning, missions and everything are harder. The bad guys do more damage. You can't sino in. That's another thing. You can't jump in capital ships or anything while the bad guys have control. So in low and nullsec, people clear these things out very quickly, simply so that they can get back to business as usual. These sites, incidentally, what they do is there's multiple tiers, and at the highest end, once you've completed enough sites, the big bad mothership comes in, or super carrier, and it is a serious thing. And if you can kill the super carrier, then maybe you're lucky enough that a blueprint will drop. And why? I have got 100 kilometers to go to find these things. This seriously what I gotta do? I gotta go in, check agents. It says neutralize every drone inside the quarantine area. So that means I gotta travel 100 odd kilometers. Although these guys seem to be moving, they might be moving towards me, maybe not. But as soon as I can target them, I shall start shooting them. Now, when you're looking at drone names, you'll see all these names: Infestor, Mammon, Belfragor, whatever. The one that you've got to start worrying about is the one that says Strain or Sentient. Sentient is awesome because they are like the high-end ones. They have much better loot. But the Strain ones, they sometimes scramble your warp drive, and you'll get this partway through this mission arc. You'll run into a bunch of drones that will scramble your warp drive, and that's usually the first place that you die. Okay, I'm still heading towards the nearest one. It looks like they're all coming onto me at once, so I'm gonna have to kill things as quickly as possible. There is a lot of them. 55 kilometers. Come, at least now that they're targeting me, they should perhaps come a little closer, a little more quickly. And we'll scroll things up here. What kind of ships? We've got Ravens, we have a Rock protecting, we have a Raven. These are the good guys. Oh, and then we have a Rattlesnake. But I'm gonna come back. No, now we're getting in range. Excellent. So, I'm just gonna go straight into the middle of them and try and kill them as usual. This may mean that I start taking a lot more damage. In fact, I had my hardeners running all that time when I didn't really need them. That means I'm down to 50% capacitor, which may not be ideal. Okay. Yes! That is an interesting sound. And then start orbiting this guy. Next target. So all this time I'm keeping an eye on my shields. If you are flying an Amarian or Galenti ship, or any armored tank ship for that matter, you shouldn't be too alarmed by going through armor. What you should be really caring about is going into structure. These drones make interesting explodey sounds. Now, I'm going to explain again what I'm doing on this overview is I'm holding down control when I'm targeting, and that means that I target the next one automatically. So if you just hold control and click, then that's the fast way to target, and you will save a lot of time, which means you can kill these things before they can start killing you. I've barely taken any damage at all. I'm just flying around, and these things are not hitting me nearly as quickly as they like. Just imagine them like a swarm of the drones in the Matrix. Remember them taking apart the Nebuchadnezzar? The Nebuchadnezzar! Okay. Next one is the Mammon Apis. And it doesn't last long. What does this one look like before I destroy it? It looks like a regular drone rather than a rogue drone. That looks like an ogre. That didn't last very long either. Orbit. Oh no, that's the wrong one. This is the one. I want to orbit this one. What? Wait, how did I hit him at like 16 kilometers? Good lord. What is the range on this? 5 plus 8? I don't know how I could have possibly hit him at that range. Mathematics does not make sense. But nevertheless, it does now. Aha, nice flying, pilot. That's the last of the drones taken care of. Feel free to inspect the wreckage if you like. I just received an official transmission from you for the Sisters of Eve. They've got a new lead to chase up anyway. So there's nothing here, no loot. Let us dock up. Say farewell to this giant drone structure. Very nicely designed it is. There's something nice about the drone aesthetics, even although perhaps they're not the most interesting of bad guys because they don't drop any loot. It used to be the drone regions were the primary source of capital ships and titans, simply because people living in the drone regions, the only rewards they got was drone materials, which could be refined into minerals, and the minerals could be used to build ships. So they pretty much had a captive audience. You would, kill these things, you would take the stuff to the station, and then you would sell it to the Alliance Alliance logistics people, who would essentially get it cheap, and you'd have to take whatever money you had. But they also figured out some cool ways to run sites, for example by rolling in motherships with smart bombs right over the spawn point. Request mission! I've just been contacted by Sister Alitura. We're going to go all the way back to Arnon, and that is going to be a long flight. So let us pick all this stuff up, put it into my spacecraft, and we're 133 cubic meters. We also have 714,000 ISK worth of stuff. This is just bits and pieces I've picked up. Okay, so if you notice there, I didn't actually accept the mission, and I made a terrible mistake because I flew all the 6 jumps over to Arnon and then realised I hadn't accepted the mission, so I had to then go all the way back, accept the mission, and come back here, which is why I'm going to cut out all that rambling I did in between. And it's okay because it's stuff you'd already heard about, alliances and item types and things like that. No, we are back in Arnon, the Sisters of Eve Bureau. And look at that, it's a fabulous looking Caldari station, all angular and ready to do business. Because business is what the Caldari are all about. Business, 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 and capitalism in every way. So now I should be able to talk to Sister Alitura. And as soon as I do that, I get another 200k, which is awesome. Nice, I get 200,000 for just flying around. Okay, that seems to be a bit of a bug. Now I'll talk to her again. The rogue drone you and I both want has been spotted in a dead space pocket near one of our stations. Building a swarm of drones, I think it's going to try and destroy that station. There are 15 people on that expedition. Bring them all back home, safely. Will you have a chance here to save some lives and deal with that drone once and for all? I shall accept and undock. There's nothing to do here but get out there and start dealing with the problem. Yeah, as I said, you can't accept most missions remotely, so it is a very big problem if you, say, have some mission where you have to go and visit somebody and you forget to actually accept the mission, and then you have to go back and you feel rather embarrassed about it. It does happen. Oh look, there's a Serpentis hidden hideaway there. I could go and deal with that, go and shoot some things, maybe make some money. But instead, I'm going to go and deal with drones, perchance. Actually, you know what? I'm not going to turn on my hardeners until I'm actually in the Dead Space complex, so that I have higher capacitor, and therefore, when the actual shooting starts, if I start taking damage, I will have more headroom in which to, I will be able to run my shield booster, and therefore have more chance of surviving against the against the onslaught of drones. Okay, there's the habitation module with its fabulous Gallente architectural stylings. Space architecture is something I'm not sure there is a particular science on, but you could certainly imagine there are architects who would love to build stuff in space. Oh, there's a drone. And there's another drone. There's a lot of them. I think this is the one where you basically have to get to the station as quickly as possible, because you're worried that the drones may cause some issues. Right now, though, it doesn't seem like a great number of drones. Nevertheless, I think I shall continue to go head first towards the station, and hopefully I won't actually have to deal with being shot at. Because really, we're just here to complete these missions. This looks like a regular station, but you can't actually join it. You can't actually dock with it like regular stations. It's just a location in a mission, so it's not a real place. Oh my goodness, there's lots of them now. Now I might start having to worry about it. The infestors are pretty easy. What have we got? The whatever. Red. I think it might be faster if I shoot these things, but hey, never mind. You do what the mission says. Get in and get the people ASAP. And this one, it certainly helps if you have a faster ship. I'm only traveling at 606 meters per second because that's as fast as this thing goes with an afterburner right now. If you want to fit a microwarp drive, it'll push it up over a kilometer per second, almost 2 kilometers per second for this thing actually. It's rather fast and agile, but it will take a lot more capacitor, and it makes you a big target that takes lots of damage if you don't use it right. That's actually one of the things they're changing about the heavy assault cruisers, which are the Tech 2 versions of the combat cruisers. They're going to give them a bonus which reduces their signature radius when being shot at, when they're using a microwarp drive, so that they should be able to move in, hit hard, and get out, you know. Objective, to home base, dock. Well, at least they're not shooting me. Sometimes you have to be careful in warping out to make sure you don't actually end up getting caught up in the hardware. Ooh, I like the reflection on that. Sometimes getting distracted by the beauty that is Eve. Eve is a fabulously good looking game at times. I remember hearing giving this, who was it, Torfranz was giving this talk at FanFest about how they were pitching Eve to people, to publishers, and they would show them videos of the in-game graphics, and they would, the publishers would say, well, these graphics are great, but we'd like to see in-game graphics, and so they would say, no, these are in-game graphics, and they're like, no, they're not, these are trailers. And they're like, no, these are real graphics. And the funny thing is, you look back at them and you realize just how primitive they look these days. The Eve engine has gone under quite a few changes in its time. So we just complete it. Bless you for saving those people. I know you didn't do this out of charity, but your help is appreciated anyway. Nature pictures. I have a plan to help us track the rogue drone down. Up till now, the damn thing is... Up till now, we haven't had a chance to get a good look at the darn thing. The good news is that one of the sisters was able to get holopics and scans of the drone that might help us track us down. The bad news is she's doing missionary work near Garista's space. She can't broadcast the data to us without raising suspicion. So we gotta go over here, which is a couple of jumps out. I'm gonna head over that way and hopefully, well, I guess there'll be nothing to shoot at or anything, so it's just a case of traveling a few jumps, picking the thing up, and then of course add the waypoint. We'll head back. During this time, I shall talk about item classes again. Now, if I show info on this and take on the adaptive invulnerability field, look at the variations, and compare variations. So what we want is activation cost, CPU usage, meta level, and then there's resistances. Don't know where the other one is. Oh, heat, overload, thermal damage resistance. Yes. So this is everything that is an invulnerability field. And if you remember, an invulnerability field, what it does is it increases your shield resistances, right? It doesn't make you invulnerable. A lot of people seem to think, I've heard a lot of newbies getting killed and they're like, but I turned on my invulnerability field. And it's like, yeah, but it only increases your resistance by 25%. It just, you know, there are ones which target specific damage types. Invulnerability fields cover all damage types. And for armor, there's the energized, there's the adaptive nanomembranes and the energized adaptive nanomembranes. Those are the ones which do the equivalent for armor. They don't need power, but they're not as good essentially. So by being active, they tend to get better. And if you go all the way up, you have Estimels, which is a super rare version, a super rare one that only drops from a special NPC called Estimel Tharkon, who spawns in Garista's space, and this gives you 50% bonus to all your armor, all your shield hit points. These things are sometimes found in Titans because I think they typically cost about 20 billion ISK, although maybe prices have changed after all. Maybe the people that own the Garista's regions, who I wonder who that might be, maybe they are much better at perhaps farming these officers, who knows. But yeah, they get better if you follow the meta level, right? This is all your meta level numbers, and 0 is the base tech 1, and tech 2 is level 5, and then everything above is super expensive. So, you know, meta level 1 through 4 is generally affordable. Meta level 5 is generally cheaper than meta level 4, but it requires a lot more skills. And you'll see here, in terms of CPU usage, it requires more than any other one. So you need the skills to be able to fit the Tech 2 stuff. As a baseline goal for your spacecraft, you should be aiming to fit Tech 2 everything. That is a good sign that you have all the skills to fly your ship well. Once you can do that, you can actually feel pretty good about yourself. But if you can't fit Tech 2 for fitting reasons because you're running out of CPU, you can always downgrade to like Meta 4 or something. Meta level 4. Now above that, in this case, you have the storyline one. That's generally a curio. It's not particularly that good. It's actually slightly better than Tech 1, but it's not as good as Tech 2. It does, however, require lower CPU than Tech 1, although, yeah, there's the limited one also requires low CPU, so it's kind of a toss-up. This one, they drop from Cosmos missions, and Cosmos missions really aren't properly laid out anymore, and it's entirely likely that you'll run into a dead end, or you'll get told to do some mission and you don't have the standings to talk to the person, so you run out of time and you can't complete it. Anyway, the next step up is these level 8 and 9. These are all faction level modules. The Dread Garistas and the Domination invulnerabilities, they drop from NPCs, special NPCs, and the Kildari Navy one comes from the Kildari Navy loyalty point store. You see, these are quite a big step up. This 37% is a big step up from 30%. However, you will probably be paying about, you know, hundreds of millions of ISK for these. Now, the blue ones, the ones with the blue pluses, these are dead space items. They only drop from dead space complexes, which you have to scan down. And, you know, you can see they are, again, better still. And the purple ones are only dropped by officers who are very, very, very rare NPCs in nullsec. Generally, you cannot kill an officer spawn on your own because they are way tougher than anything else. They used to be kind of weak, but then they got really buffed, and it was kind of amusing to hear people losing carriers to these things because they would scramble your warp drive and they would have to call in friends, and then, you know, not a good situation to be in. Anyway, we have reached the mission site, or not the mission site, we've reached the target. Let's take a look at this. This is a Gallente station, look at that. Again, more awesome curves sitting next to that dead looking moon there. So in the item hangar we have the encoded data transmission, and we should just get out of here and head home. This is the Scope, which is a corporation who deals in news. They are the leading news agency in the world of EVE. Though based in the Federation, the company takes pride in its total independence. Wow, okay, so I've undocked, but I'm still Okay, this is great. Oh, there we go. Finally. It had not loaded the exterior. That was scary. There's a Serpentis hideaway. Another thing I could go out and kill. These things are all over the place, and they're the ones that have a slight chance to spawn a, you know, a boss rat, so to speak. A boss NPC that will have a chance of dropping fancy things like implants and blueprints. Let's check my wallet. 7.5 million. We are heading off. We're getting close to that, to being able to buy a decent cruiser. Oh, these are battle cruisers, not what I want. Cruisers. Again, we're looking at the Minmatar, either the Rupture. Ah, the Bellicose is actually cheapest in electronic warfare. The Rupture or the Stabber. Don't bother with the Scythe. It is a logistics ship, and you don't want to be repairing anyone. You want to be shooting them. I would say the Stabber is probably good if you've been following the kind of same playstyle as me. You'll see that I've mostly been training shield tanking skills, and the Stabber is set up for shield tanking. If you look at the fitting, it has medium, 4 medium and 4 low, whereas the Rupture, if I look at it, it has 5 low slots and 4 medium slots. So, the Stabber has 4, 4, 6, so it gives up a low slot to get an extra high slot. It also has launcher hardpoints, whereas the Rupture, yeah, so basically the Stabber can actually fit more firepower. And I think actually if you look at attributes, down the bottom, max velocity 210 for the Rupture, for the Stabber it's 290, so the Stabber is a fast ship. You want to fit it with autocannons again and get in close and kill things. We're heading backwards now. Yeah, still, it's decent enough looking ship. There's just one tiny little ventral fin type thing. Nobody's ever really explained what these things are. And if you have a lot of money, of course, you can get the fleet version, the Stabber fleet issue, which of course comes in nice camouflage patterns. That, if you look at it, what do we get? Fitting. So it gets an extra 2 low slots, so it's able to fit more hardware, make it tougher. And oh, it's actually a little slower. So if you want to fit a regular Stabber, the regular Stabbers are probably better these days. There's also the Scythe fleet issue, which note the price in these. Stabber fleet issue 65 million, Scythe is 85 million. These are not for poors by any means, but they are usable at relatively low skill levels, and they're tougher. They tend to have much more hit points. So the Scythe fleet issue is all about more guns. It has a split weapon system, a medium projectile and missiles. So there you go, Mini Typhoon. That was the design there. And of course, you can buy the blueprints for these things if you want. If you take a look under cruisers, that's where you would buy Stabber blueprints. There. And it tells you what is needed to, under the bill of materials, it tells you what you need to manufacture it here. And these are extra materials. The reason the extra materials were added was that when they rebalanced all the ships, the Stabber was like used to be a tier 1 combat vessel, and then the Rupture was the tier 2. So the Rupture was better than the Stabber in almost every way, except for speed. And they wanted to make them equals more or less. So the Stabber is still faster, but it has different, you know, it costs now the same. That's the idea. And so you'll find a lot of blueprints, a lot of things. So we have the Oracle, which is the tier 3. That was the tier 3 that was added. But now the Harbinger needs extra materials, and the Prophecy has even more extra materials. These are important. These are materials you do not get back when you reprocess the ship. So that's what's going on there. And anyway, let us go out. Yeah, actually, let's take a look. Manufacture and research. So manufacture and research is an important these are kind of the raw materials that make New Eden run. The Fullerettes are needed for making Tech 3 hardware. Ice and ice products are of course required for fueling everything. Basically, ice is the oil of Eve. And if you can interdict, if you can control the flow of oil, you can control the market. You can make money, and that's what of course we're doing right now. Aha! Aha! This is very, very important now. So the mission arc splits into two. You have two options. One is tracking the Queen, and this is, you're looking for Corin Rista. Managed to get some tracking data off the drone 2 days ago. The hollows you got allowed him to confirm that it's the same drone. He's willing to sell us the data in exchange for extracting him from Mordu Legion outpost. Mordus are basically generally an honest group, but for some reason Rizia needs to get out of there quickly. He thinks the Legion wants to kill him. Or we have another one. We have, before we get the mercenaries' help, we need to get him out of the jam. This guy goes by the name Wolf Bergen, but I'm willing to cut him a slack because he's a good tracker. Wolf's been all over the universe and hunted damn near everything at some point. Anyway, point is you can pick one or the other. So this one they're going to make a clone of him, and the other one they're going to fight him out. And one of them leads to potentially slightly different missions later on. I'm just going to do tracking the Queen, accept this choice, and now this is us. We're going to, I said accept this choice. There we go. And now we accepted the mission. Get the scope reporter out. Yes. So now Mordu's Legion are just like the Kaldari, which means kinetic and thermal damage is the way to go here. So hopefully I should be able to deal with them relatively well. Encounter dead space, warp to location. I know it's up here, but that's unnatural for me. If you're doing it, you probably want to learn all these things over here. See these different sections. This is your autopilot. You can hide your autopilot, you can hide the star system, you can hide the agent if you just want to have all that out on the screen. Okay, so let's switch myself to the Scourge rocket and phased plasma. Phased plasma is the way to go if you're killing Guristas, if you're killing Mordus, if you're killing general mercenaries, or if you're killing Kaldari because you are a Galenti pilot. Okay, Rizia's wrecked ship. That doesn't look good. That is... Hey, get me out of here before a patrol finds us here. Sure, Corin. Moving in as quickly as I can. That's interesting. Oh, what are these? Asteroids or something? Or are they just scenery? It's just scenery, I think. Remove spawn container. No, I don't want... Oh, there's an asteroid there. But I don't want that. I want her. Close. Okay, so we're waiting for the Mordus to show up, no doubt. We're moving... Here's the thing. Look at that. That's a pretty wrecked ship, huh? I guess the Mordus have made their base in a long-dead spacecraft. The remains of some unlucky vessel that found itself on the wrong end of a hostile fire, let's say. I'm surprised that nothing is showing up just yet. This is a far too easy mission. I don't know, I'm trying to make Eve exciting by explaining all the background, but apparently they're just not wanting to show up and do things. Okay, loot that, head back to the station. Well, that's boring. Corin Rizia. Oh, there we go. Mordus Gladius. That's okay, we don't need to deal with these guys. They're coming out of here. Uh-oh, they're targeting me. Hopefully none of these are gonna scramble me. I'm warping out. No problem. Yeah, the Mordus are basically Kaldari ships, so you don't need to worry about that. Get the scope out and then just... Oh, destroy his captors? What? I got him out of the space. Why should I need... No thanks. Okay, well I guess I have to go back. So I'm going to hold control and space and fly straight back to the encounter. Warp to location once again and turn off my thing until I'm there. Here's me thinking, Oh look, there's a micro warp drive. That's something I've picked up. High speed maneuvering is the skill that I need. I have navigation level 3. I should maybe train this skill at some point. The skills are probably for sale in the Arnon station, since enterprising individuals buy them from elsewhere in the galaxy and they ship them to this location, where they can be sold at a profit. Of course, it saves me the effort of going to their particular location. You know, most of the economy is basically built around the notion, thanks for the lift, I stashed the data in a secure place. Take me there, and I'll sell it to you. First thing, we're gonna go and deal with these Mordus. So yeah, these are essentially flying Caldari looking ships, but with the Mordus logo on them. There they are, there, the red one. You can't really see. Uh-oh, there's the missiles coming out. Okay, I'm gonna activate my hardeners now. Brace for impact! Oh, well, no, they were too far out. Ha! You guys fired too early. Yeah, you can just about make the Mordus logo out there. It's like a double-headed bird. There we go. Okay, now we're getting in close enough. Look at this guy. He's going to be my first victim. Aha! Now we're flying headlong into their onslaught. Oh, do you see they're webbing me? So I want to kill the bounty hunters are the ones are tougher than the regular ones. So I need to target him. Target him. But the bounty hunter is important because he is slowing me down. And speed is what's keeping me alive. No, I need to target him instead. Uh-oh. Yeah, really starting to take damage here. I've got to run my reps a couple. Uh-oh, Mordu's bounty hunter is not dying quickly enough. This could be a big problem. But this is just slowing me down. It's not stopping me from warping out. Problem is, I can't get close enough to him to do damage to him, right? Everybody's trying to keep range on me. My main guns are really not designed to shoot at this range. So I could think about going to a different look. I could think of changing out the guns on this. But I'm hoping I can break his shields. Maybe I'm going to start aligning towards that target, because I'm about to run out of power. The capacitor is empty. Not good. Okay, time to warp out. So he is stasis webbing me. He is not scrambling me. So I can still warp out even though he's slowing me down. He's only slowing me down in normal space. What you want to watch for is things that are scrambling your warp drive as well. In that case, you can get into serious trouble. So this is a perfect example of why you might want to switch to long-range guns. So long-range guns, in the case of the Minmatar, are artillery. So actually, there's a different option here. There's a bunch of different things you could do. First is you can go into electronics and sensor upgrades, and you could fit tracking enhancers. Actually, no, they're not here. They are under turrets and bays, weapon upgrades, missile projectile cannons. Where are they? Where are the upgrades? Darn it. Turrets and bay, weapon upgrades. Yes, they're right on the bottom there. So I could fit tracking enhancers, which they basically, if you look at it, they increase my fall off and tracking range. Now tracking enhancers, they go in low slots, right? So you can fit them there, and you see that they have 16%, this is 8%, so it helps. Now tracking computers go in mid slots, and you can see tracking computer, they increase my fall off by 10%, but you can then you can also fit a script which will make that 20%. These need power, so these would go in the mid slots, but I'm not going to fit either of these. I'm actually going to change my weapon system completely to be something that is more suitable for shooting at long ranges. So yeah, ship equipment, projectile turrets, and autocannons are short range, artillery cannons are long range. So I want to look at our 250mm light artillery. Howitzer artillery is the Tech 1 version. Light carbine, light gallium. And generally the long range versions take more power, so I think I'm going to look for... Is this the one, 250mm? Okay, let's take a look at these. The fitting is going to be 8 megawatts per gun. Now right now I have 37 megawatts to spare. Show info. These take 4 each, right? So if I could fit 7 times 4, right, I can definitely fit 250mm ones, right? However, we'll actually just take a look at the ranges on this. Attributes, accuracy fall off is 8, that's the tracking thing. Optimal range is 8 kilometers, so he would be right in my optimal range. I would be able to do extra damage. The 280mm version, which is cheaper, that takes 12. So I would not be able to fit a full rack of these because it would take too much power. Now I could fit a power thing, a power enhancer on this, but I think what I'm going to do is just look for a 250mm one, which is more my price. Light Scout Artillery, wow, 1.2 million. Okay, so I'm just going to buy these Tech 1 versions. I'm going to buy 7 of them. That's going to be $1 million ISK, and it's 100. Someone is really making me pay through the nose for this. Seriously, what are the other options? Howitzer Artillery, so 250. These are all expensive. These are all expensive. You know, I'm just going to have to hold my nose and pay it because it's going to take a long time to travel the distance and find cheaper ones. The prices are within the region. Maybe I could cross into a different region. This would be a perfect thing for Eve Central. But I'm just going to fit this thing because I need to do it. I'm going to leave Corin Rissia here as well. So, got to unload all these things. Unfit. Yes. Let's get it to unfit. 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 Unfit for duty. So now 250mm, and this is going to fit these things, and we should be able to get all of them in here. Now these will do less damage. It requires more CPU. Darn it, more CPU than I have. I've got to take out this weapon upgrade. Let's do that first, because I'll still need that. Still need the tank. Okay, so I have 21 CPU left. Now let me take a look. Do I have a tracking enhancer? Because I thought I saw one of these. Slot. I'm looking for something that fits in low slots. Low slot. So I have the gyro stabilizer. I have a coprocessor, which doesn't help me because I want to fit something else. And I don't see non-linear tracking. So this is a tracking computer, right? But it fits in a mid slot. So really, I wanted to see if there was something in low slots. And there's a small armor repairer, which I actually need right now. I need to repair it. Not very much in the way of options, is there? Perhaps if I go to the market here, if I add, take a look at the tracking enhancers, weapon upgrades, tracking enhancers. What does it say? See, this only uses 9 teraflops. So this actually might be a good one. Tracking enhancer 2 I can't use. Fourier transform, oh, 255. Why is this so expensive? Attributes. Meta 4. Actually, you know, this is a Meta 4, and it's actually the cheapest in the region. I'm going to buy this. Because actually, at least, at worst, I can resell it to someone later. It's proper good value. Okay, so let's fit Fourier. Fit to active ship. So I can at least fit all this. I've had to give up some of my... I've had to give up my damage. I'll do a lot less damage, but I'll be able to do it at a lot further range. So I'll be able to travel and hit them. We'll take a look and see just how good this thing is. It says, mouse over it. Fall off range 24 kilometers, optimal range within 14. So I should be able to hit these at the limit of my range. So I'm going to hit this button to this little icon here to bring them all together. And load. And what shall I load? Depleted uranium. That will give me extra long range as well. The options, incidentally, for your heads-up display are down here. You can change things. You can actually hide empty slots. You can display passive modules, you can hide those, so it will only show things you can click on. See how my tracking link has disappeared? Put it back on there. There it is. Anyway, let's go back to this site and warp to the location. You know, given that I'm hitting at longer range, maybe I should train oh look, I'm getting the training sharpshooter skill right now. I should perhaps add long range targeting to my skills. But what is my targeting range? It says targeting range is down here. 29 kilometers. So I should be able to shoot this guy at 20 kilometers, and because I've got depleted uranium, my distances are not changed, so I should do some decent damage to these guys. Again, damage won't be as high. The other thing to note about artillery is the rate of fire is much lower. See, damage per second is down to 48. So here's the Mordu's bounty hunter. This is the guy I want. So I'm going to orbit him at 20 kilometers. That's what I'm going to do. Oh, he's a long way out, but that's who I'm going towards. Or maybe keep it range at 25 there. So hopefully I won't get close enough for him to actually enable his stasis web. Stasis webifiers are supposed to have a 10 kilometer range, but bad guys, NPCs frequently just ignore all these things. There we go. I'm going to do keep at range 25 on this guy. So once I get in range... Oh, they're getting damage already. Now we're hitting them, but I should be able to hit him. There, you see already knocking hard into his shields. I'm turning around now. So this is my whole kiting trick, where I'm just keeping distance on them, hoping that they won't do nearly as much damage from afar. Yeah, you see, I fire less frequently, but I do a lot more damage with artillery. Artillery is a weapon that has high alpha. And the thing about artillery, which is nice, is that you can do a lot of damage on your first shot, and a lot of spacecraft actually have a really hard time dealing with this. Okay, now I'm getting webbed. I should switch my targets to the bounty hunter before he gets too close. I want this katana to die. I'm not really in... Okay, turn off my shield booster as well. Bounty hunter! Okay, I've burned out my capacitor. I'm just going to turn off my afterburner right now because the speed is really not helping me, and I absolutely need to stay alive. I need those shield boosters to be available. By travelling away from him as well, I'm minimizing his angular velocity with respect to me, so I'm making it easier to hit. Instead of orbiting if I orbit, then I would add my orbital velocity to his, and it would make it harder to kill him. It's very important that I kill him as quickly as possible, because he is slowing me down and making me an easy target. But yeah, there goes the artillery. Come on! You're almost into his armor. Let's run a shield cycle. Just run a couple of cycles of this. Ah! Okay, not good. Come on! Come on, you gotta die before my shields go down. So never be afraid to warp out of a mission if you're in serious trouble. You can warp out of a mission without consequence, basically. Okay, warping out to 25 kilometers, and now kill these guys. Use my afterburners now. I'm out of shields, but you know what? This thing, I have damage control, and I can actually go faster than them. Oh, now my adaptive invulnerability field is down. I should probably start heading towards this target. But you know what? I am killing these things. Next one. Keep it range 25 kilometers. There we go. You see, he's got guns and he just can't hit me at this range. So I can take him apart at my pleasure. Oh no, there's a missile. Bang. Never mind. Just run a couple of cycles of my reps. Looking a little better now. I'll turn on the reps as soon as I see the missile coming. There we go, missile. Rep started. Hey! Nice. Now at 24 kilometers out, I should be hitting only 50% of the time, more or less. Not even, actually, more than 50% of the time, but I shouldn't be hitting every single time. Aha! There we go. Now, I'm a long way out. This is one of the disadvantages of the whole kiting, is that you basically end up a long way away from targets. Okay, let's turn off this field. Let's turn off my adaptive invuln. I'm going to stop and pick up whatever's in these canisters. You know, this is the way a lot of newbies like to fight. They like to keep their distance, and they like to take things apart while hitting only one group at a time. And it is very important that you learn to manage aggro and don't get attacked by 20 things at once. But it can be a very slow way of doing things, and if you learn to be bold and get up and in the face of a lot of enemies, you'll find that you're actually killing things a lot faster. And let's grab... oh, there's a railgun. Railguns are the Caldari are hybrid weapons that are long range. They basically take ammunition and they take power. That's what hybrid weapons do. Hybrid weapons take ammunition and power. Projectile weapons take only projectile ammunition. They do not take power. And energy weapons, they don't really take ammunition, although they do kinda. But they don't take any power. Wow, look, this is in the Mordu's Bounty Hunter. See that? We got a whole pile of nice things. Hypnos Ion ECM field. I think if I view market details on that, that's okay actually. 107, yeah, 240k according to this. Loot all, excellent. I'm not convinced of those prices, but nevertheless, I think the prices are acceptable. I think the prices are more likely to be correct, let's say, than my random guessing, because honestly, I don't notice the price of a lot of things these days when I play Eve, simply because I'm sitting on enough cash to buy whatever I like. I don't really need to work that much to make cash. Okay, oh, there's a non-linear tracking processor. Loot all. And that is a sensor dampener. Sensor dampeners, I've already pointed out, those are used by Gallente and Serpentis, and they make you harder. They make your locking abilities less capable, let's say. Max targeting range, minus 15%. Scan resolution, minus 15%. But you can use it with a script, which will... if you have this running without a script, which is loaded in like ammunition, then you'll get this percentage bonus or penalty to both of these. But if you have the script, you can say apply all the penalty to this, or all the penalty to this. That's the way it works. Okay, now we're getting... come on. We still have 91 kilometers out. Oh look, I got a metal scraps and a shield recharger, and now you see I gotta fly 94 kilometers, so that is gonna take me a really long time. So I gotta think of something to say and not forget that these guys are gonna shoot me. Notice that they are flying what looks to be, if you've been playing as a Caldari, it is very likely that you are flying this spacecraft. If you are a Caldari, I strongly recommend the Kestrel as a frigate, because it is a missile frigate and Caldaris specialise in missiles. They're much tougher than they used to be. It used to be that the Kestrel wasn't nearly as tough as the Merlin, and again, the Merlin is a much tougher version of the it's a much tougher frigate. It gets a bonus to hull resist or shield resistances, right? So if we go in and we can compare these cruisers, standard cruisers, frigates, Caldari. Oh, these are interceptors. Standard frigates, Caldari. Oh, here we go. Condor. So the main frigates you'll be flying as Caldari will be the Condor, which is a missile. It's a close range one. It basically is fast and it gets a bonus to what do you call it? To tackling modules. Okay, now I'm going to set keep at range 20, and I'm going to shoot these things from a distance. The Kestrel is a heavy missile boat with one of the most sophisticated sensor arrays. Basically, it gets a bonus to missile damage, whereas not the Heron, but the Merlin. The Merlin is one you'll probably get given during the missions, and it gets a bonus to shield resistances and hybrid turret damage. So it's a railgun ship. Although you can fit it with blasters, but I mean, Caldari traditionally are set up for range, so they tend to get bonuses to range rather than damage, although that's less true nowadays. The Galante are supposed to be up close with blaster bolts. So yeah, here's me just sitting at range, not taking any damage. I should probably turn on my keep at range 25. Did I set that? I'd stopped. That was my problem. There, keep at range 20, and then start firing. See, kite away. Kiting, kiting, kiting. No doubt this description of kiting comes from other MMOs, but it applies equally well in EVE. It's not something I tend to recommend, but it is useful when you know that you don't have a huge amount of DPS on your side, or that you know that getting in close will result in you getting scrambled. And I believe there's a mission where having this long-range fit is going to be useful. So yeah, I think that is me, more or less. That's me about an hour into this, despite my various problems. I'm going to pick this up, turn in the mission, and then I'll see you in part 12. And hopefully I'll have some more to talk about then. I'm Scott Manley. Fly safe.